My one that got away had finally come back to the States. That very night, my high-powered CEO wife locked the bedroom door from the inside. Her eyes were bloodshot as she pinned me against the floor-to-ceiling window. Tell me, who is she? Why did you betray me? But I didn't dare say a word, because the woman making her go mad with jealousy was. Victoria Sterling was acting strange. Very strange. When she pressed me against the glass of her executive office window, my entire body was trembling. Outside, the Chicago skyline at 2:00 a.m. was a blur of neon and rain. The glass was freezing, and through my thin dress shirt, I could feel the chill seeping into my bones. But Victoria was hot, burning hot. One of her hands was clamped firmly around my waist, the other braced against the glass, her body practically fused to mine. Her warm breath fanned across my ear, carrying a faint scent of expensive bourbon and her signature sandalwood perfume. Caleb, her voice was low and husky, a far cry from the composed, almost clinical CEO of Sterling Enterprises I knew. Who did you see today? My heart skipped a beat. Here it was. I knew this was coming. Nobody special. I stammered, trying to keep my voice level. I was just at the office handling some files. Then I had a lunch meeting with Miller about the new project. I came straight back after dinner. Liar. Her grip on my waist tightened, making me gasp in pain. I can smell it on you. She leaned closer, her lips brushing against the shell of my ear. You have someone else's perfume on your clothes. My brain went numb. I was dead. It's a feminine scent, Victoria continued, her voice growing colder even as her touch became more demanding. Very distinct. Citrus notes with an amber base. It's not a commercial brand. It's a custom blend from a private perfumer. She was too sharp, terrifyingly sharp. Victoria, listen to me. I don't want to listen. She suddenly nipped at my earlobe. It wasn't hard, but it carried a fierce, desperate edge. I froze, my breathing turning shallow. Caleb, what did we say when we got married? Her voice, thick with damp heat, drifted into my ear. You said I'd be the only one. I know. Then who did you see today? I didn't dare tell her. I really didn't. Was I supposed to tell her that I had secretly gone to see Maya Vance, my sister who had been missing for 10 years and had just flown back from France? 10 years ago, a massive house fire had torn us apart in the chaos of the aftermath. I was taken in by a distant relative while she disappeared. I later heard she had been adopted and moved out of the country. I never stopped looking for her, and just last month, a private investigator finally tracked her down. Maya said she wanted to see me, but it had to be secret. I understood. Her adoptive family was wealthy and treated her like their own. She was terrified that a brother suddenly appearing out of the blue would cause friction. So we met in the shadows. We had picked a secluded, upscale bistro in a quiet corner of the city. When she walked into the private booth, I almost didn't recognize her. The scrawny little girl who used to follow me around calling me Big Brother had grown into a graceful young woman. Her hair was in soft waves, and she wore a cream-colored knit dress under a tan trench coat. When she saw me, her eyes immediately welled up. Caleb, just that one word made my throat tighten. We talked for 3 hours. We talked about how we'd spent the last decade, about our childhood, about our parents, though we both tried to avoid poking that particular scar too hard. When it was time to go, she gave me a long hug. I'm back, Caleb, she whispered. We can see each other all the time now. I told her yes. Then she slipped a piece of paper into my pocket with her new number on it. Don't let your wife know, she said, her expression turning complicated. I've heard. She keeps you on a very short leash. I had laughed at her then. You've been listening to too many rumors. Now, I realized Maya was right. Victoria's hand moved from my waist. Before I could breathe a sigh of relief, I felt her fingers at my belt. Click. The sound was soft, but it echoed like a gunshot in the silent office. Victoria. I panicked. We're in the office. So what? Her voice was frighteningly calm. This is my company. I own this building. I'll have you wherever I want. I was speechless. She was right. Sterling Enterprises was hers. This 40-story skyscraper was hers. Even I was hers. 3 years ago, I needed a massive amount of money to clear my family's debts. Pushed to the brink, a friend told me about a gig, playing the temporary boyfriend for the Sterling heiress to get her father off her back about marriage. I figured it would only be for a few months, the pay was incredible, and I could get an advance. I sucked it up and went. But the moment I met Victoria, I knew it wasn't going to be simple. She was breathtaking, not in a soft, gentle way, but in a sharp, aggressive, chillingly beautiful way. Her skin was like porcelain, her features were flawless, but her eyes were cold enough to freeze blood. She had been sitting by the window in a coffee shop, holding an iced Americano. She watched me walk in and sized me up for exactly 3 seconds. You'll do, she said. 10,000 a month. 3-year contract. If neither party wants to renew after 3 years, the relationship dissolves. During this time, you are on call 24/7. You will play the role of the perfect boyfriend and husband. No crossing lines, no emotional entanglements. Can you do that? At the time, my head was so full of debt that I nodded without a second thought. I can. Good. She pushed a contract toward me. Sign it. I signed. I later learned that Victoria was in a brutal power struggle with her father. He wanted her to marry the son of a business partner, a corporate merger to solidify his legacy. Victoria refused, found herself a nobody husband, and used me to spite him. I was a pawn, but on the day the 3-year contract expired, she didn't let the pawn go. Renew it, she said, sliding a new contract across the table. This one is permanent. I was stunned. Why? I've grown used to you. She looked at me, her eyes still cold. You're a good cook. You're quiet. You don't cause trouble. I need a husband like that. I need. Not I want. I need. Victoria Sterling never did soft. She only did hard and demanding, even when she was being vulnerable. But I signed it anyway, because by then, I had actually fallen for her. I loved this woman who talked tough but had a hidden soft side. I loved how she put on a cold face even when she was worried about me. I loved how she'd come home late from the office and peek into the bedroom to see if I kicked off the blankets. I loved that she remembered I hated cilantro and made sure every takeout order noted it. I knew there was a warm place deep inside her. It was just buried so deep that nobody else could see it. I thought I could slowly dig it out. Until today. Until Maya came back. Distracted, Victoria's voice snapped me back to the present. She had turned me around at some point, and we were now chest to chest. The main lights in the office were off. Only the desk lamp provided a dim, amber glow. The light hit her from the side, casting half her face in shadow. I couldn't read her expression, but her eyes were glowing with a terrifying intensity. Caleb, she cupped my face, her thumb stroking my cheek. Tell me, who was the woman you saw today? I opened my mouth. My throat was bone dry. An old friend, I heard myself say. We haven't seen each other in years. We just grabbed a bite to catch up. An old friend, Victoria repeated. Then she smiled. It was the kind of smile that made my skin crawl. Man or woman? Woman. What's her name? Maya. Maya Vance. The moment I said those words, my heart nearly leaped out of my chest. Victoria's hand stilled. Maya, she said slowly. Beautiful name. It's all right. I forced a laugh. How old? 24. And what does she do? She just got back to the States. She hasn't settled on anything yet, but maybe a perfumer. I watched her face carefully. She's always been sensitive to scents. She studied in France for years. How do you know her? Just from when we were kids. I didn't dare say more. Then she moved away, and we just recently got back in touch. Victoria went silent. She just stared at me for a full minute. The office was so quiet I could hear my own heart thudding like a drum. Then she let go of me. Go, she said, turning back toward her desk. She picked up a folder and started reading. The bathroom is through the side door. Take a shower. You're staying at the office tonight. I was floored. What? What part of that was unclear? She asked without looking up. Do I need to repeat myself? No. I hurried toward the lounge. At the door, I couldn't help but look back. What about you? I have another meeting, she said. 2 hours. Go to sleep once you're done. Don't wait up. I watched her silhouette behind the desk, a strange ache tightening in my chest. Victoria, I said softly, don't overthink this. Maya really is just an old friend. We haven't seen each other in forever. It was just lunch. I know. Victoria cut me off, finally looking up for a brief second. Her eyes were like a calm, fathomless sea. Go. I shut my mouth and went into the lounge. Once the door was closed, I leaned against it and let out a long, shaky breath. My back was soaked with cold sweat. That was close. One more second, and I would have spilled everything. But I couldn't. Maya was right. It wasn't time yet. I knew exactly how possessive Victoria could be. She'd get annoyed if I spent too much time talking to a female client. If she knew I had secretly met my one that got away, God only knew what she'd do. I had to take it slow. I'd wait for the right moment to explain. I stripped off my clothes and stepped into the shower. The hot water helped me relax, if only a little. When I finished and stepped back into the room, I could see Victoria's silhouette through the frosted glass, still working at her desk. Her back was perfectly straight. I didn't bother her. I climbed into the bed. It was soft and smelled like that sandalwood scent of hers. I hugged the pillow, drifting off while thinking I should tell her not to work so late. In the middle of the night, I felt someone touching my face. It was light, careful, The fingertips were cool and had the slight calluses of someone who spent their life writing and typing. I opened my eyes. In the darkness, Victoria was sitting on the edge of the bed, looking down at me. The city lights outside flickered across her face, making her expression impossible to read. Did I wake you? Her voice was a whisper. No. I rubbed my eyes. Is your meeting over? Yeah. What time is it? 3:30. So late. I scooted over and lifted the duvet. Come to bed. You have work tomorrow. Victoria didn't move. She just sat there, watching me for a moment, then suddenly leaned down and pulled me into a hug. My breath hitched. Caleb, she murmured, her face buried in the crook of my neck. Don't lie to me. My chest tightened. I'm not lying to you. Good. She pulled back, found my lips in the dark, and kissed me. It was a fierce kiss, tasting of bourbon and an unidentifiable, raw emotion. She was almost biting, her hands gripping my shoulders with painful intensity. I started to panic. Victoria! Victoria, stop! I turned my head to break the kiss. Calm down. I am calm, she said, and then she moved with a sudden, purposeful intent that left no room for argument. What? She whispered, staring at me in the dark. Caleb, I'm your wife. Is there a problem? No. No problem, but no buts. She kissed me again, harder this time. I had no choice but to let her have her way. Only one thought ran through my mind. I was in trouble. Victoria wasn't just annoyed. She was furious. When I woke up, the sun was high. Light poured through the blinds, cutting bright stripes across the floor. The space beside me was empty. I pushed myself up and looked around. The lounge was empty, and the bathroom door was open. No sound. She was already gone. I ran a hand through my hair and climbed out of bed. Damn it. I cursed silently, leaning against the wall as I made my way to the bathroom. I looked like a wreck in the mirror. My neck and collarbone were covered in marks, and there was a faint bite mark on my shoulder. I was halfway through brushing my teeth when I heard movement outside. Caleb. It was Victoria. I poked my head out, toothbrush still in my mouth. She was standing at the lounge door, already dressed for the day. She was in a perfectly tailored white suit, her hair pulled into a low, elegant bun. Her makeup was flawless, her lips a bold crimson that made her skin look even paler. She was back to being the untouchable CEO. You're up. She walked in and tossed a shopping bag onto the bed. Fresh clothes. Be downstairs in 10 minutes. The driver is waiting. Where are we going? I asked through the phone. Home. She glanced at me. Unless you prefer to live at the office? Home. Definitely home. I nodded quickly. She didn't say anything else and walked out. I finished up as fast as I could and opened the bag. It was a complete outfit, right down to the socks, all in my exact sizes. The shirt was even in the pale gray I usually wore. That was Victoria. She might be angry, but she never missed a detail. When I walked out, she was by the window on a call. Her voice was cold and professional. You'd never guess she was the same person from last night. Yes, I've seen the contract. It needs revisions. Right, have it in my inbox by 2 p.m. Good. Goodbye. She hung up and turned to me. Ready? Yeah. Let's go. She led the way out, her heels clicking sharply against the marble floors. I followed her, watching her back, feeling uneasy. Had she believed me or not? The elevator ride was awkwardly silent. I stole a few glances at her, but she just stared straight ahead, expressionless. Victoria, I finally said. About last night. What about it? She asked flatly. Just, I scratched my head. With these marks on my neck, how am I supposed to go to work today? She finally looked at me. Then don't go. I can't do that. I have projects, I said. She turned back to the elevator doors, watching our reflections stay home and rest. The tone left no room for debate. I shut up. The doors opened to the lobby. Victoria walked out first. The receptionist stood up immediately. Good morning, Ms. Sterling. Good morning, Mr. Vance. Victoria gave a curt nod. Outside, the black Cadillac Escalade was idling at the curb. Victoria slid into the back, and I climbed in after her. As the doors shut, the city noise vanished. I leaned back, watching Chicago blur past the window. My mind was a mess. I needed to warn Maya. We couldn't meet for a while. At least not until Victoria cooled down. My phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. Caleb, you up? Everything okay after last night? My heart jumped. I peeked at Victoria. She was leaning back with her eyes closed, seemingly oblivious. I typed a lightning-fast reply. I'm fine. Don't contact me for a bit. Wait for my signal. Sent. A few seconds later. Okay. Be careful. If she asks, just say I'm a distant cousin so you don't blow your cover. Got it. I deleted the thread and tucked the phone away. When I looked up, Victoria's eyes were open. She was watching me. Who was that? She asked. Nobody. I tried to sound casual. Just spam. Is that so? She didn't push it, but she didn't close her eyes again either. I had a bad feeling about that look. We made it back to the estate. Victoria had a penthouse downtown, but we spent most of our time at this suburban mansion. She said it was quieter for sleeping, but I knew she found the apartment too small. She liked her space. It was a massive place, 3 floors and a yard. It felt lonely with just the two of us and the maid who came 3 times a week. As soon as we stepped inside, she started heading upstairs, shedding her jacket. I'm going to change. Do whatever you want. Aren't you going to the office? I asked. This afternoon, she said without turning around. I'm staying home this morning. My stomach dropped. Victoria was a workaholic. She usually spent 24 hours a day at the office if she could. For her to stay home voluntarily, something was wrong. I sat on the couch and flipped through channels, not really watching. My mind was spinning with last night and Maya's text. Eventually, I heard footsteps on the stairs. Victoria was wearing a loose cream sweater and matching lounge pants. Her hair was down, and she'd washed off her makeup. She looked much softer, but it was just a look. She sat in the armchair next to me and took the remote, turning the TV off. We need to talk, she said. There it was. The moment of truth. Talk about. What? I played dumb. Maya Vance, she said, her eyes level. Your old friend. What? What about her? How long have you known her? A long time, I said vaguely. Since we were kids. How young? Maybe 7 or 8. How did you meet? We lived near each other. Played together a lot. My voice was getting quieter. Victoria didn't say anything. She just kept looking at me with a gaze, so still it made my skin crawl. Caleb, she said suddenly, whenever you lie, your right pinky finger curls up. I instinctively looked at my hand. My right pinky was indeed curled. I quickly straightened it. Too late for that, Victoria said, a small, cold smile touching her lips. Now, tell me the truth. What's going on? I knew I couldn't hide it anymore. Maya. I took a deep breath. She's actually my sister. Victoria's eyebrow arched. Your sister? My cousin. I lied, doubling down. A distant cousin. Our families were close when we were little. Her family moved away, went abroad, and we lost touch. She just came back recently. Is that so? Victoria leaned back, clasping her hands over her knee. Then why didn't she just come to see me? Why the secret meetings? I was afraid you'd get the wrong idea. I laughed nervously. You know how you are about me being around other women. So you hid it from me. I was wrong. I admitted immediately. I shouldn't have kept it from you. But it's strictly a family thing. If you don't believe me, I'll introduce you to her some other time. Victoria remained silent. She watched me for a moment, then stood up. Forget it, she said, heading toward the dining room. Let's eat. I blinked. That was it. I watched her walk away, stunned, then hurried to follow her. Breakfast was already on the table, likely left by the maid. Victoria sat across from me and began eating in silence. I watched her tentatively. Victoria, you're not mad? Would it matter if I was? She asked without looking up. You went and saw her anyway. I won't do it again, I said quickly. From now on, I'll tell you before I see her. I'll take you with me, okay? She didn't answer. Victoria. Eat, she commanded. No talking at the table. I shut up and ate. It was an excruciatingly quiet meal. The only sounds were the clinking of silverware and the pounding of my heart. As we were finishing, she spoke again. Come with me this afternoon. I want to go somewhere. Where? You'll see when we get there. She wiped her mouth, set her napkin down, and left the room. I watched her go, the feeling of dread in my gut growing heavier by the second. What was she planning? At 2 p.m., Victoria came back down. She was back in her power suit, hair pinned up, lips red. The perfect CEO again. Let's go, she said. I followed her to the car. The driver was ready. We pulled out of the driveway and headed toward downtown. As I watched the streets go by, I realized we weren't heading toward the Sterling headquarters. Victoria, where are we really going? You'll know soon enough. 20 minutes later, the car pulled up in front of an exclusive restaurant, The Cloud. It was one of Chicago's most famous private clubs, members only. It also happened to be the exact place I had met Maya yesterday. My head spun. Victoria, why are we here? I tried to keep my voice steady. To eat. She stepped out of the car. I scrambled out after her. The manager saw her and came running. Ms. Sterling, welcome back. Your booth is ready. Right this way. Victoria nodded and followed him. I trailed behind, my palms sweating. Why here? Did she know? It was impossible. I'd picked the most secluded booth and been careful. The manager stopped at a private room. Here you are, Ms. Sterling. Thank you. She pushed the door open. I followed her in, my heart hammer on glass. Then I saw her. Sitting by the window, wearing the same cream sweater and tan coat from yesterday, was Maya. She looked up, her face brightening when she saw me. Caleb. Then she saw Victoria behind me. Her smile died. Let me introduce you, Victoria said, stepping forward and naturally slipping her arm through mine. This is my husband, Caleb. Caleb, this is Maya Vance, your old friend. She put a heavy emphasis on the words old friend. I looked at Maya. Maya looked at me. Neither of us could speak. The air was deathly still. Finally, Victoria broke the silence. She let go of my arm and walked to the table, taking the seat directly across from Maya. She looked like she owned the place. Ms. Vance, I assume you don't mind if I join you? She looked up at Maya with a smile that was cold as ice. Maya was pale. She looked from Victoria to me, her lips trembling as if she wanted to say something, but nothing came out. Victoria acted as if everything was normal and picked up the menu. I hear you just got back from France, she asked casually. France is lovely. I was there last year for business. Only stayed 3 days, unfortunately. Too much work. Maya gripped her hands together in her lap. It's a nice place. And what did you study there? Victoria's eyes locked onto Maya's. Caleb told me it was perfumery. Yes, that's wonderful. Victoria Smaid. I know several perfumers at the major fashion houses. If you need a recommendation, I could pull some strings. No. That's okay, Maya whispered, looking down. I can manage on my own. Really? Victoria closed the menu and leaned back, crossing her arms. So, do you plan to stay in Chicago for long? Or are you just visiting? Staying. Oh, Victoria Arstavrouw. Have you found a place to live? If not, I can help. Sterling Real Estate has several luxury developments with great security. That won't be necessary, miss. Sterling, Maya said, finally finding her voice and looking Victoria in the eye. I've already found an apartment. Good. Victoria nodded, then looked at me, standing awkwardly by the door. Caleb, don't just stand there. Sit down. I snapped out of it and sat down next to Victoria, facing Maya at an angle. I could see every twitch of Maya's expression. She was terrified. Her knuckles were white, and she kept glancing at me with a look that screamed for help. I was a mess. What was Victoria doing? Was this a test? A warning? Or did she just want to see the competition? What would you like, Ms. Vance? Victoria pushed the menu over. The French cuisine here is excellent. The chef was poached from a Michelin-starred restaurant in Paris. You should appreciate that. Maya didn't touch the menu. She took a deep breath, seemingly making a decision. Ms. Sterling, she said, her voice steadier now. I came here today because I wanted to explain something. Explain what? Victoria asked, looking amused. The relationship between Caleb and me, Maya said. We're just old friends. We haven't seen each other in a decade, and yesterday was just catching up. Please don't misunderstand. Misunderstand? Victoria Chakith. What would I misunderstand? Maya choked on her words. I mean, there's nothing going on between us. Don't worry. I'm not worried, Victoria said, tilting her head innocently. Old friends having lunch is perfectly normal. Why would I worry? Maya went quiet. She looked at me, her eyes asking, what is wrong with your wife? I wanted to know too. Victoria, I whispered, maybe we should just order? We can talk while we eat. Sure. Victoria pressed the call button. The waiter appeared, and she ordered several signature dishes before asking Maya, any allergies, Ms. Vance? No. That'll be all. Victoria handed the menu back. The waiter left, and the silence returned. I felt like I was sitting on a bed of nails. Ms. Vance, Victoria said suddenly. How old are you? 24. 3 years younger than Caleb. Victoria Nadith. You really do seem like a sister to him. My heart stopped. Yeah. I forced a laugh. That's why I said she's like my sister. Your cousin? I know, Victoria said, turning to me with a smile that was far too sweet. You told me this morning. But those eyes, they were freezing. Ms. Sterling, Maya spoke up. Can I ask you something? Go ahead, Victoria said magnanimously. How did you and Caleb meet? I felt a cold sweat break out. What was Maya doing? Victoria Smaid. Oh, that. 3 years ago, my father was hounding me about a merger marriage. I found it tedious, so I picked someone to marry instead. He happened to need money, so we signed a contract. She said it so casually, like she was discussing the weather. But every word felt like a needle in my heart. Maya grew even paler. A contract, she repeated. Yes, Victoria nodded. A 3-year deal. He plays the husband. I provide the funds. Mutually beneficial. And now, Maya looked at our joined hands. The contract is over. It expired, Victoria said. But we both felt the arrangement was working, so we renewed it. She paused, looking at me with a gaze that could have melted lead. Right, Caleb? My throat was too dry to speak. Maya looked down silent. The food arrived, exquisite, expensive, and completely unappealing to all three of us. Victoria cut her steak with surgical precision, looking perfectly at home. Maya picked at her soup. I just went through the motions of eating, tasting nothing. Near the end, Victoria dabbed her mouth and looked at Maya. What are your plans now? Will you stay in Chicago or move to another city? I'm staying in Chicago, Maya said. That's good. Chicago is a great city. We should keep in touch. Feel free to stop by the house sometime. Maya's grip on her spoon tightened. Okay. Oh, Victoria said, as if just remembering something. Where are you staying? Give me the address. It'll make it easier to visit. Maya gave her the name of a complex. Victoria noted it down on her phone. Well, that's that, she said, standing up. I have a meeting this afternoon. Caleb, stay and chat with Ms. Vance for a bit. I've already settled the bill. That's not necessary, Ms. Sterling, Maya said quickly. I should be going too. If you insist. The three of us walked out. The car was waiting at the curb. Where can I drop you, Miss Vance? Victoria asked. I'll just grab an Uber. Thank you. Very well. Safe travels. Victoria slid into the car. I stood by the door, looking at Maya. I wanted to say something, but with Victoria right there, I was paralyzed. Caleb, Maya said softly. Go on home. I'm Fine. But I'll get a car. She gave me a strained smile. Talk to you later. Okay. I got in the car. The door shut, and the world went quiet again. Through the rearview mirror, I saw Maya, standing on the sidewalk, watching us pull away. She looked so small and lonely in the autumn wind. My heart ached. Missing her already? Victoria's voice came from beside me. I snapped out of it. No, of course not. Good. Victoria leaned back and closed her eyes. Drive. The car moved. My mind was a whirlpool. Victoria was marking her territory. She was telling Maya and me that I belonged to her. But the more she did it, the more I feared. What would happen when she found out Maya wasn't my cousin, but my biological sister, my only living relative? What would she do if she thought another woman was stealing my attention? What are you thinking about? Victoria asked suddenly. I jumped. Nothing. She opened her eyes and looked at me. Caleb, I don't care who Maya Vance is to you. Cousin, old friend, whatever. From today on, keep your distance. My heart skipped. Why? Because I said so. Victoria looked away. I don't like it, but it doesn't matter what she is. Victoria's voice turned icy. You're my husband, Caleb. I expect you to remember that. I had no response. The rest of the ride was silent. Victoria's face was a mask of cold perfection, but I knew she was livid. When we got to the office, Victoria got out and told me, go home. I have a dinner meeting. Don't wait up. Okay. She looked like she wanted to say something else, but she just turned and walked into the building. I watched her disappear and let out a long sigh. Home, sir, the driver asked. Yeah. Back at the house, I took a shower and tried to sleep, but it was impossible. All I could see was Victoria's interrogation and Maya's pale face. I pulled out my phone to text Maya, but I kept deleting the words. If Victoria found out. Suddenly, my phone rang. An unknown number. I hesitated, then picked up. Hello. Caleb. It was Maya, and she sounded like she was crying. I am scared. What's wrong? What happened? Someone is following me. Her voice was shaking. Ever since I left the restaurant, I took an Uber home, and a car followed us the whole way. I'm in my building now, but I'm afraid to go upstairs. My stomach twisted. Where are you exactly? At the entrance. She started sobbing. Caleb, what do I do? Stay right there. Don't move, I said, already throwing on my shoes. I'm coming. But your wife, forget about her, I snapped. Wait for me. I grabbed my keys and ran for the garage. Victoria, please let this not be you. By the time I reached her complex, it was getting dark. Under the dim streetlights, I saw Maya curled into a ball by the gate. I slammed the car into park and ran to her. Maya! She looked up and burst into tears again. Caleb. It's okay, I said, pulling her into a hug. I'm here. Don't be scared. She was shaking violently in my arms. What happened? Who followed you? Did you see the plate? No. She shook her head. It was a black SUV. It followed us through 3 different turns. When I got out, it parked across the street and just watched. My heart sank. A black SUV. Victoria's security detail used black SUVs. Are you sure they were following you? I asked. Could it have been a coincidence? No, Madhya Karaith. I had the driver go around the block twice. They stayed right behind us. And, Caleb, I think she sent them. Why do you think that? Because of today. Maya's voice was tiny. She was warning me. She knows something, and she wants me away from you. I couldn't say anything because I was thinking the exact same thing. Everything Victoria had done today pointed to this. Caleb, Maya whispered. What do we do? Maybe I should just go back to France. If I leave, she'll be happy and she won't hurt you. Don't be ridiculous, I said. You just got back. I'll handle this. Don't worry about her. But I helped her up. Come on, I'll walk you to your door. I'm scared. I'm right here. If someone was really watching, they'd think twice with me there. Maya nodded hesitantly. I walked her inside. It was a mid-range complex, decent, but the security was basic. We took the elevator to the 12th floor. I kept my eyes peeled the whole way. No suspicious people, no black SUV. But that only made me more nervous. Inside her apartment, she offered me water. It was a cozy one-bedroom place, clearly decorated with the intention of staying long-term. Maya, I said, sitting on her couch, tell me the truth. Why did you come back so suddenly? She looked down at her glass. I just wanted to see you. I didn't want to cause trouble. I knew she wouldn't like you having other women around, so I thought we'd just meet a few times until I was settled. But you got caught, I sighed, and now it's worse. I'm sorry, Caleb. It's not your fault. It's mine. I rubbed my temples. Listen, for now, don't contact me. I need to calm Victoria down. If you see that car again, call the police immediately, then call me. Don't go out alone at night. Caleb, Maya's eyes filled with tears. I shouldn't have come back. Stop that. I stood up and took her hands. You're my sister. You're the only family I have left. I'm glad you're here. We just need time. Trust me, okay? She nodded. I stayed until she was calm, then headed out. As I reached my car, my phone rang. Victoria. I took a breath and answered. Hello. Where are you? Her voice was cold, colder than usual. Out. Handling something. What something? Just a friend. Which friend? You don't know them. I tried to sound natural. Victoria, are you done with your meeting? I am, she said. Where are you? I'll have the driver pick you up. No need. I have my car. Caleb. Her voice dropped an octave. Where are you? My skin prickled. I'm at Maya's building. Silence. A long, suffocating silence. Victoria. Caleb, she said, her voice terrifyingly flat. Did I or did I not tell you to keep your distance? You did, but no, Vats. Go home. Now. I want to see you there before I arrive. But, Caleb, don't make me say it twice. The line went dead. I stared at the screen, my heart in my throat. I was in deep trouble. I drove like a maniac. I ran 2 red lights and nearly clipped a fender. I didn't care. Victoria's voice was on a loop in my head. When I pulled into the driveway, the house was lit up. She was already home. I took a breath and walked in. Victoria was on the couch, her back to me. She'd taken off her blazer, her hair spilling over her silk shirt. She was drinking bourbon straight. You're back, she said softly. Yeah. I sat down next to her. The bottle was already a third empty. Victoria. Let me explain. Explain what? Why you lied. Why you ignored me. I didn't lie. She was being followed. She was terrified. I couldn't just leave her. Followed. Victoria laughed. It was a dry, bitter sound. By who? I don't know, but she was sure someone was watching her ever since we left lunch. Victoria didn't say anything. She just downed another glass. Victoria. Stop drinking. I reached for the glass, but she pulled away. Caleb, she said, her eyes burning. Who is Maya Vance to you, really? My chest tightened. She's my cousin. Cousin. Victoria stood up, looming over me. What kind of cousin makes you run to her the second she calls? What kind of cousin makes you ignore your wife's warnings? She was in danger. Don't she? Victoria cut me off. Who would want to hurt a girl who just moved here? Caleb, tell me, who do you think was following her? I couldn't say it. You. I think it was you. Can't say it. Victoria leaned in. I'll say it for you. You think I sent someone? You think I'm that kind of person? I didn't say that. But you thought it. You ran there to see if I was the villain. Her voice was steady, but it carried a weight of disappointment that hurt more than her anger. Caleb, we've been married for 3 years. I thought you trusted me. I guess I was wrong. Victoria, I'm sorry. I stood up and tried to grab her hand. I shouldn't have doubted you. But she's all alone here. And she's my sister. Sister, Victoria repeated, her tone strange. You're both named Vance. Are you really just cousins? I froze. What? What do you mean? I mean, Victoria said, her voice turning to ice. If you're cousins, why don't you look alike? And why does she look at you like you're her entire world? My brain stalled. I did a background check, she continued. Maya Vance, 24. Adopted by a French couple 10 years ago from an orphanage. Before that, her parents died in a house fire. There was another child in that fire. A boy who went missing. My face went white. Caleb, she whispered. Maya isn't your cousin. She's your sister. Your biological sister. I collapsed back onto the sofa. It was over. When did you find out? I asked, my voice cracking. This afternoon. It wasn't hard to find. You're a terrible liar, Caleb. You couldn't even look me in the eye at lunch. I closed my eyes. So now you know. She's my sister. My only family. Are you happy? No, Victoria said, kneeling in front of me. Caleb, I'm your wife. Why didn't you just tell me? I was afraid, I admitted. I was afraid you'd think I was putting her before you. I was afraid you'd get jealous and try to push her away. So you lied to me instead. Victoria stood up and turned her back to me. I thought we had more than that. I thought I was someone you could rely on. Victoria, please. I stood up and wrapped my arms around her from behind. I am sorry. I shouldn't have kept it from you. But please don't be like this. She was stiff in my arms. I looked for her for 10 years, I whispered in her neck. I thought she was dead. Then she came back. I was so happy I didn't know how to handle it. I didn't want to mess things up with you. So I tried to keep the two parts of my life separate. She didn't speak, but it was never about her being more important. You're my wife. You're my life. Maya is my sister, and I love her, but it's different. Please believe me. Finally, she turned around. Her eyes were red. You promise? No more lies. No more hiding things. I promise, I said, kissing her forehead. Anything you want. I'll introduce you properly. I'll do whatever you say. Victoria looked at me for a long time, then hugged me tightly. I was so angry, Caleb. I was so scared you were leaving me for someone else. Never, I promised. She pulled back, her expression turning serious. Wait, if she really was being followed, and it wasn't my people, then someone else is watching her. My heart jumped. Ooh, I don't know, but I'll find out. Victoria frowned. She needs to move. That building has no security. I have a condo downtown. It's empty and has 24/7 guarded access. She moves there tomorrow. I was stunned. Victoria, you do that. She's your sister, Victoria said, as if it were obvious. That makes her family. But I have conditions. Anything. 1. You don't go there alone. If you see her, I go with you. 2. If she needs anything, she calls me too. And 3. No more lies. Ever. I promise, I said, and I meant it. Story complete extra. Her love, Victoria. Sterling realized she loved Caleb Vance on a rainy night 3 years ago. She had come home late, drunk, and sick from corporate gala. She expected the house to be empty, but Caleb was waiting up. He made her soup and stayed by her side, even when she was being difficult. Why are you doing this? She had asked him. It's just a contract. He had laughed and said, You're my wife. Who else would I take care of? It was so simple for him. For her, it was terrifying. She had used the contract as a shield, but that night, the shield shattered. She realized she couldn't live without him. She never told him. She didn't know how to be vulnerable. So she kept him close with money and contracts and possessiveness. When Maya appeared, she felt that old terror again, the fear of losing the only thing that actually mattered. Caleb, she thought as she watched him sleep later that night. You have no idea how much I love you. I'd do anything to keep you. Even play the hero for your sister. Extra complete.